Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now, in this video, we're going to be having a look at a brand new simulator which is in development. You've probably heard of it. It's called Rennsport. Now, I was invited to the Rennsport Summit earlier on in the year, but unfortunately, I couldn't attend. I had other commitments. However, I still got early access to the build, and I've been dabbling with it ever since. Well, the embargo lifted yesterday, which means I can now talk about it and show you some gameplay footage. But we've got to remember that this is an alpha build. I'm pretty certain that what you're going to see in this video won't represent the final product. So at the moment, there are three cars to choose from. There is the Porsche 911 GT3, there is the BMW M4 GT3, and there is the Audi R8 Evo 2. There are three tracks in the simulator right now. There is the Goodwood Hill Climb, there is the Hockenheim Ring, and there's another track which I'm not allowed to tell you about. So we're going to take each car for 1 or 2 laps around the Hockenheim Ring, just to let you see what they're like, what they sound like, and I'll give you my impressions on how they drive. So enough talking, let's get on track. So here we are then, in the BMW M4 GT3. Now, I've maxed everything out. There's no triple screen support right now, so I'm on a single screen, running 2560 by 1440, and all of the graphic settings are maxed out, so it can't look any better than this right now. You can see the frames per second at the top there, so I'm hitting, oh, I don't know, it's hard to tell, around about 130 frames per second. What you can see now, all the UI, I've pretty much turned everything on so you can see what's available. I'm hoping in the final release that these will be movable. Makes life a little bit easier as a content creator when you can move things around the screen so you guys can see what you need to see. So we'll take the BMW out. Let me know what you think of the sound. The pit limiter on. Now there's loads of detail in the force feedback. I'm using my iRacing profile, and there just seem to be lots of detail, which is good. I don't know what that car is there. So, all of these setups on the cars that I've tried, the 3 cars, they all seem really safe, really understeery. And the setup screen or the setup options aren't available right now. But we can tinker with the traction control and the ABS and the brake bias. I quite like the sound of it. I quite like it. There's a little bit of a delay between gear shifts, which I'm not quite used to. On the other sims, that the gears just flick from one to the next. There just seem to be a little bit of a delay in the sound, not the actual shift. Because when I press the shifter, it changes on the dashboard. The BMW feels quite good. Whoa. I do like the way it handles. You can slide the car around a little bit. It's actually quite nice. And it's difficult to not compare this to the other simulators that are out there right now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. But it's actually a pretty darn good driving experience. I quite like it. Graphically, I don't think the sky's got any movement on it. I don't think. Doesn't seem to be like a dynamic sky. It's using the Unreal Engine. Oh, the curbs are funny as well. The curbs are a little bit too exaggerated, actually. When you take them on the inside, it's really easy to over-rotate the car. And when you brake in when they're on the outside wheel, it pulls the car over to the left. And if the curbs, you know, angled towards the track, I wouldn't have thought it would have done that. It's as if the curbs angled the other way. Another thing I've noticed is the last 10-20 meters of the braking phase, the car seems to slow like there, like really quickly. A little bit unnatural. It's as if that last 10 or 20 meters, it just needs to not brake so hard, if that makes sense. Like, you never think you're going to get it stopped for the apex, but then it does. It's a bit like Automobilista 2 in that regard. That's what it reminds me of. But I do like it. The graphics look good. They don't look very crisp right now, I don't think. I don't think the graphics look crisp. Whoa. Penalty. I'd be interested to see what the penalty system's like. Hopefully it's better than iRacing's. Hopefully. But the BMW actually drives pretty darn good. I quite like it. I quite like the way it drives. I'll show you what I mean with the curbs. So you brake in there, it just won't seem to pull off the curb. It just won't seem to turn. But that's the BMW. I quite like it. We'll jump in to the Porsche next and see what you think of that. Right, so we're sitting in the Porsche GT3 right now. We'll take this out on track. Similar story, see how it drives. Sounds totally different from the BMW, as you would expect. But it's very, very familiar inside. Force feedback feels pretty identical. Yeah, just the sound in between... Oh, blimey. Just the sound in between shifts. Feels a little bit... You know, like the cutout of the engine. It should just be bang, bang, bang. There's just a little bit of a drop-off in the sound. See if it's got the same trait with the last 10-20 metres of the braking. No, that didn't feel as bad, actually. Again, very, very understeery. We've turned the traction control down a little bit, I think. Oh. Feels very Porsche-like. You know, if you've driven a Porsche GT3 on any of the other simulators, it feels very familiar with regards to the lift-off oversteer. Try and stay off that curb. Just doesn't want to turn when you hit that curb. That's going to be a penalty, yep. No, so in this car, that last 10-20 metres of braking seems to be quite linear. You know, there doesn't seem to be any step where there was in the BMW. The last 20 metres just seemed to really stop, as if you had an extra 20% brake pressure. Yeah, which I don't have in the Porsche. I like it though. I like the gearbox whine. I've yet to hit an apex, I think, in the Porsche. And the car does move around a little bit. Again, it's really, really important to remember that this is obviously alpha, and in no way will this represent the finished product. But I've had access to this for a while, and the build that I'm driving on now feels so much better than the last time that I drove it, which is probably a couple of months ago now. But yeah, the Porsche, I like it. I like it. Feels totally different to the BMW, which is good. You know, they haven't just got a generic car feel. They both feel completely different. I like it. Right, let's have a look at the brand new Audi. Right, so sitting in the Audi, obviously it looks very familiar indeed. There's the steering wheel if you want to see it. Looks pretty darn nice. Again, there's a bit of a delay with the audio. You know, as if it doesn't seem to match. You know, when you see the dashboard, it's hitting the rev limiter. You know, the audio is taking a while to catch up. Hopefully they'll fix that. I do like the sound of it though. It sounds completely different, doesn't it? It does sound good. Yeah, again, in between shifts, the audio needs fixed. I'm sure that's the last on the list of things to do. The TC is on 9. Let's get that down. ABS is on 9. We'll leave that on 9 for now. Brake by 60%. That could probably come down a little bit actually. You know how that feels? Alright, I was just testing the runoff area there. Oh my word, loads of understeer with this setup. See if this got the BMW trait in the braking phase. Yeah, we're going to have to try and combat that understeer with a bit of oversteer, I think. It just won't turn. Penalties all over the place here. Yeah, the curbs need a little bit of work, obviously. But they feel good when you run over the bumps and going off track. The force feedback feels really good. Look at that, just plows. Obviously they've got to build a safe setup for everybody, I suppose. Because if it was want to throw you off the track at every opportunity, then nobody would really give it a chance. I like the sound of it though. I do like the sound of the Audi. It does sound really good. I'll brake a little bit earlier this time. Didn't seem to make any difference at all where I braked then. Just wasn't stopping. We'll finish this lap. The amount of understeer is mental. Just can't get this thing round. A little bit less TC. If that helps. A little bit, I think, but not much. There's no damage yet. I want to test the sand actually. Does it slow you down? Yeah, it does. Not a huge amount, but it does slow you down. And the force feedback over the, you can see I'm just holding my steering wheel light there. There's loads of detail on the grass. Oh, bit of a glitch there with the curb. Work in progress though, alpha build. But that's the Audi. Right, let's have a talk about what I think. So we've taken each one of the cars for a lap or two around the Hockenheimring. What do I think? Well, firstly, I'm really pleased that all of the cars felt different from the other. The BMW felt really planted, felt like a BMW. The brakes seemed a little bit strong in the last 10, 20, 30 meters. I think that needs fixed, but it felt like a BMW. The Porsche felt like a Porsche. A little bit of lift-off oversteer, a bit of oversteer on the power. Sounded incredible, felt like a Porsche. The Audi, brakes didn't really seem to want to work. I couldn't hit in apex for love nor money, but it sounded incredible. There is a bit of an issue with the audio. I think there's a little bit of a delay between shifts. What you see on the screen when you press the shifter doesn't seem to match what you hear. So there is a little bit of work that needs done with the audio. But remember, it's an alpha build. Hockenheimring looked pretty darn good, although the visuals weren't as crisp as I hoped they would be. I've got everything turned up to the maximum. They just seemed a little bit hazy, a little bit fuzzy. Yes, there probably will be a little bit more work goes into the visuals. Well, I'm sure there will be. So they weren't as crisp as I hoped they would be. But overall, from an alpha build, I'm really impressed. I found myself comparing it to other simulators, which is a good thing. You shouldn't be comparing this to R-Factor 2, iRacing, ACC, any simulators that are out there, Race Room, just so I don't upset anybody. You shouldn't really be comparing this to those at this stage. But it actually drives really well. Bit of work to do with the curbs and all that kind of stuff, but that'll be ironed out, I'm sure. But the actual cars felt good. They moved around a little bit, which I like. It didn't feel like when they were starting to slide that it was going to just kind of overcorrect and spit you off. It felt quite controllable. But overall, Rennsport looking pretty darn promising. Fingers crossed it turns out to be what I hope it will be. All of the little gremlins ironed out. Fingers crossed. Well, let me know down below in the comments what you think of each one of the cars. Which do you like best? Which do you like the sound of? What do you think of the visuals? And is there anything that you would like to see in Rennsport that's not in any other simulator right now? But as always, thanks for watching. Have a great week. See you later. Cheers.